Hello everyone, this is Nature Freak and welcome to episode 2 of my quick little tutorial series of Hearts of Iron 4. So basically today what we're going to be doing, because I'm going to be giving you a tutorial overview of the army, sort of what each thing does, where you would want to apply and under what terrain circumstance, because yes, terrain does matter in this game. I'm also going to introduce you to army experience, division templates, and training divisions itself, as well as the basics of your logistics. So, for starters, as Italy, you are at war with Ethiopia. You start the game at war with Ethiopia. So the recommended course of action for this is I'm going to go ahead and manually move this division into here to attack this one, and the rest can stay as is. And then I'm also going to activate this battle plan, which I introduced this last episode, but you can draw one by clicking to make one a front line on this entire border, or right-clicking and dragging does the same goals, and then clicking the offensive line, and then again right-click and dragging to, say, take that bit. I'm going to go ahead and delete that order because that's not the order I want. This is the order that I want, and I went ahead and made this at the end of last episode. So we're going to go ahead and activate this, and we're going to wait for these soldiers to come through before we activate the second order. So, now that that's all set up, I have deployed my Air Force. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up to speed 5. If you're playing multiplayer, the highest you'll most likely go is speed 4. And then I'm going to just either click on here or use the space as the hotkey, and we're starting to play the game. So I already have unfulfilled import needs that don't matter. Okay, good to know. And so there's these last two divisions, and once they come, then I am going to go ahead and say, execute your orders. Go ahead and have these people stop. And, you know, this is not designed to be much of a fair fight at all. I mean, quite literally, these are people going with tanks against people with, you know, flintlock muskets, in a way. So this is going to be very quick, which should not be much of any use of meter. Yeah, 1,000 to 10k. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. That is a focus that Germany does. Now you have Ethiopian war logistics done. And so I'm going to go down and go for industrial effort to get 4 civilian factories. I've already gone over national focuses in my episode 1 of my tutorial. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't already, as I'll be relying on you knowing a lot of those things, especially as the game plays. So, first research is done. I usually go for mechanical computing, but radio is as good a choice. Both of them are very vital. And we should try and get them as quickly as possible. So you notice up here, you have fuel. Fuel I'm going to go over in the next episode when we discuss Navy. But also, if you look up here, you can also see that I have Army XP, and it is flying up. Look at it go. And I'm going to show you what you do with this in just a quick little minute here once I defeat Ethiopia. Second London Naval Treaty has been signed. There's resistance. Oh no. Those researches have been done. I usually go for the L6, because you don't want to be using light tank 1s for very long. And then I think I'm actually going to switch from Grand Battle Plan to Superior Firepower, because that is one of the best ones, in my ever so humble opinion. So I think if we take this province right here, we should win, and this should be able to crush that easily. I'm going to go for Mare Nostrum, which gives us 4 dockyards, Navy experience, and 200% bonuses for Naval Doctrine. Si, signore. Avanti! And there you go. So, I'm taking this, I get all these notifications. No divisions in basic training. That's not the end of the world, really. Rubber from Siam, not really much of a big deal either. Now, I have a bunch of political power. What can I do with this? I can appoint political advisors. Each of these provide different bonuses. Like this provides more support for fascism, which is my ruling ideology. This provides a bonus for all military factories, dockyards, fuel silos. This provides, this makes you better at crushing your opponents with like the garrisons. So I'm going to go ahead and appoint Giovanni Marinelli. So something that I most often do is I combine these two units. So now I have one large army. So if we take a look at our recruit and deploy, here is a list of all of the divisions that your army uses. If you click edit, you can see what they look like and you can change them however you so wish. So if we just scroll down here, we can see all the ones that we have, and so on and so forth. Not super complicated or hard in any way. So, what you do with Army XP is you can do two things. You can either spend it 100 Army XP at a time to get a bonus to doing doctrines, or you can change division templates. So, or edit them, I should say. So, for example, we are going to take here, we're going to replace these two cavalry with light tanks, and they are organized by I guess this way. I don't know the technical term for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and replace these cavalry with motorized infantry and add one more light tank. This is a 16 width division. Right now, the current meta of Hearts of Iron 4, and it probably will still be the meta of Hearts of Iron 4, is to have 20 width divisions or 40 width divisions. So since it's 16 width right now, I'm going to go ahead and add one more light tank and one more motorized infantry. And so that brings it up to 20, which is the second most optimum combat width behind 40 width divisions. What's the difference between 20 width and 40 width? Basically, 20 width is weaker, is of course it's a weaker division, but it has less fuel use and they're cheaper to make, so you can field more of them. 20 widths are much better, or are very optimum if you want to defend a very large front. For example, lots of multiplayer people who will play the Soviet Union, they'll have swaths of just 20 width divisions doing a very stagnated defense. And that is a common tactic often used. But however, where 40 width often triumphs is just that they are better all-around divisions. They have more attack power, they have more breakthrough, and breakthrough is, how many enemy attacks you can attempt to avoid while on the offensive, effectively allowing it to stay on the offensive longer. So, where is armor really good with? Armor is very good with, armor. If you have, you can read. So, piercing, it allows you to attack. Piercing allows you to attack armor. Armor allows you to defend against piercing. But what that you really want is soft attack. So with the changes, we're going to get extra 46 soft attack, which is pretty good for a light tank division. I'm also going to go ahead and add engineer companies, which, if we just look at this, we can already see all of the bonuses that comes up, aside from a little bit more weight and supply usage. That's a good trade. And we're going to change this to be armored divisions and not cavalry divisions. So now we have 10 XP left. So what I would probably do is I'm going to just put them both onto making our infantry unit larger. And we can sort of leave it as that. Again, trying to build these up to 40 width divisions. So, if we go down to doctrines, I already talked about this more in the last episode, but I'm going to go into a bit more in depth as to pretty much why Grand Battle Plan sucks and all the other ones are good in their own scenarios. So, why does Grand Battle Plan suck? It provides good bonuses. Indeed, it does. It does provide good bonuses for whoever wants it. However, Grand Battle Plan is not specialized, and in war, and especially World War II, you need that specialization. Mobile warfare is good if you want to have a fast army of lots of tanks and you're trying to, fight a war of movement. Superior firepower is all about your artillery and making your infantry units as powerful as you can. And mass assault doctrine is just about making sure you can outnumber your troops, like you have more soldiers and the enemy has bullets. Grand battle plan doesn't really do any of that. So, as I upgraded this division here, our infantry division, we also have these colonial divisions. These colonial divisions, they're bad. So I'm going to select this to change their template, and they're going to switch them over to regular infantry templates. I don't think I have any on this one here. No, I don't. So, what do I need to do? Okay, so going to recruit and deploy, I can click this button to delete this template from our list of templates for divisions. Are you sure to delete it? Yes, I am. So these are the 4 templates that we're using. I cannot delete any of these because divisions are using them. That's kind of how that works. And this one is being used for garrisons. So I'm going to just let the game run just for a little bit. Not enough manpower or equipment. That's kind of understandable. So, what does all of this weird stuff here mean? What all this means is that this is your balance. The balance is kind of weird, it's weirdly calculated, so don't pay much attention to this. What you need to pay much more attention to is your stored. And you can do the math with your production. So, for example, I am in a deficit of 4,527 guns. Actually, I'm at 4,538, my bad. And with our current production, it'll provide an estimate of how much that shortage will be lasting. And same thing, minus 155 units deficit, 72 days, minus 554, 408 days, minus 537, 395 days. And here it shows you the same things for all your planes and for your convoys, and any other equipment that you have that aren't ships. It also shows you the resources that each of these equipment types use, and this shows the average production efficiency, which you can also see here. So again, one last thing, to end this off, front line, you can click, then left click on the border that you want it to be on, offensive line, left click, and then right click and hold right click and drag to where you want to attack. I'm going to go ahead and draw an offensive line right there on the Yugoslav border. So, in a nutshell, try to get 40 with infantry divisions, as they are the best all around. In order to do that, you need army experience. You can get army experience through a number of ways, like training your soldiers, fighting through wars, or lend-leasing your equipment, and the equipment will get you army XP. Also, try to have 40 with divisions as a generalization, not just in infantry. I think I haven't gotten, I've not gone over specialization with tanks, and that'll be the last thing that we do. So, tanks. I did touch briefly on what each of these tanks do, but to go into a little bit more depth into each little subsection here. So, for example, here we have the L3, the light tank destroyer, and then the light tank artillery, and light self-propelled anti-air. What do all of these do? All of these cut down one stat to boost another. For example, this one makes a tank destroyer, so it cuts down significantly on your soft attack, but gives you much more hard attack, and hard attack is what you would use to attack armored units. This does the other way around. It sacrifices hard attack for soft attack, and this sacrifices both for anti-air capabilities, so your tanks can shoot down enemy aircraft. Of course, all of these have different stats, and they each work differently, and some of that can kind of have to come from experimentation on your own part for what do you like to do. I'm going to go ahead and do this, click hold, or click H for hold, resume the games, and let these soldiers move out, and then that'll be the conclusion of this tutorial. As we just go ahead and go down each of our tech trees. I know we're short infantry equipment. We're working on it, see? And there is the Spanish Civil War. In the next episode, we're going to be going over more things with diplomacy and your navy. This is Nature Freak. Thank you all very much for watching part 2 of this Hearts of Iron 4 tutorial, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.